In a grand room filled with strange aliens, the Galactic Council met to discuss an important topic: Earth. The walls sparkled with colorful lights, and the air was thick with tension. The leaders of various planets gathered around a large round table, each one eager to share their opinions. Chancellor Zarnak, the head of the council, stood up. He was tall and had bright green skin that glowed under the lights. With a smug look on his face, he began to speak. Earth is growing stronger, but they are just a small planet. We can easily crush them if they get out of hand. His voice echoed in the room. Captain Jake Eagle Thompson, a brave leader from Earth, watched the meeting from a small screen in his command center. He felt anger rising inside him. They think we are weak. He whispered to his trusted second-in-command, Lieutenant Maria Starcruz. We have to show them we can fight back. Maria nodded, her brown eyes filled with determination. We've been working hard on our new starships. They are powerful. Jake, if we face them, we can win. She clenched her fist, ready to take on the challenge. Meanwhile, Zarnak continued his speech. We must prepare for the worst. The Kryn Empire is eager to attack. General Rax is already planning a strike on Earth. He leaned forward, looking at the other council members. We must act fast. General Rax, a cunning warlord from the Kryn Empire, sat at the edge of the table. He smirked, knowing that chaos was coming. I can lead the attack on Earth. They won't stand a chance against my forces. He boasted, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Jake's heart raced as he listened to the council's plans. We can't let this happen. We need to warn Earth, he said, urgency in his voice. He turned to his crew, a team of skilled pilots and engineers. Prepare the fleet. We must be ready to defend our home. The crew jumped into action, gathering around Jake. We'll do whatever it takes, Captain. One of the pilots shouted. Their voices filled the command center, creating a sense of unity. Jake felt proud of his team. Back in the council room, Zarnak's voice boomed. We will strike Earth soon. We will show them the power of the Galactic Council. The council members murmured in agreement, some nodding eagerly. As the meeting ended, Jake made a decision. We need to gather our allies. If we work together, we can stand against the council. He looked at Maria, who smiled back at him, ready to fight for their planet. We can reach out to other planets that feel the same way. Together, we are stronger, she replied, her voice filled with hope. With determination in their hearts, Jake and Maria prepared to contact other worlds. They knew the battle ahead would be tough, but they also knew that Earth would not go down without a fight. Let's show them what we're made of, Jake declared, ready to defend his home. The stage was set for a battle that would change the galaxy forever. Earth's leaders would no longer be underestimated. They were ready to rise against the Galactic Council and prove that even a small planet could make a big difference. Earth's secret weapon. In the heart of a hidden military base deep underground, Captain Jake Eagle Thompson gathered his top team. The walls were lined with screens showing maps of the galaxy and images of their new starships. Excitement filled the air as everyone prepared for the meeting. Jake stood at the front, his eyes shining with determination. Listen up, everyone. The Galactic Council thinks they can take us down, but they don't know what we've been working on. He paused, looking around at his crew, who were eager to hear what he had to say. Lieutenant Maria Starcruz stepped forward, her expression serious. Our scientists have created a fleet of new starships. These ships are faster and stronger than anything we've ever built before. They can outmaneuver the Council's forces. Jake nodded, proud of his team's hard work. That's right. Each ship is equipped with advanced technology that can disrupt enemy systems. When we engage the Council, they won't know what hit them. One of the engineers, tech specialist Rob, raised his hand. But, Captain, will our ships be ready in time? The Council could attack any day now. His voice was filled with worry. Jake smiled, reassuring his team. We've trained hard, and our ships are almost complete. We just need a little more time. I believe in each and every one of you." His words ignited hope in the room. Maria stepped to the side of the command table, pointing at a large holographic image of one of the new ships. "This is the Phoenix. It has cloaking technology that will make it invisible to enemy sensors. We can sneak past their defenses." Rob added, "And its weaponry is unmatched. We've installed laser cannons and missile launchers that can take out multiple targets at once. This ship will be our key to victory." Jake clapped his hands together. "Great work, team. But we can't just rely on our ships. We need to gather intelligence about the Council's movements. Maria, I want you to leave a small team to gather information. We need to know where they will strike next." "Understood, Captain," Maria replied, her excitement growing. "I'll take Rob and a couple of pilots. We'll scout the area and find out what the Council is planning." As they prepared to leave, Jake felt a surge of pride for his crew. "Be careful out there. The Council is ruthless, and we can't let them catch us off guard." He turned to everyone, looking into their eyes. "This is our chance to show the galaxy that Earth will not back down." Just then, the command center shook as an alarm blared. "Captain, we've detected a Kryn ship approaching Earth," one of the technicians shouted. Jake quickly responded, "Everyone, to your stations. Maria, gather your team and get ready to launch." The room buzzed with urgency as they prepared for action. Maria grabbed Rob and another pilot, Lieutenant Max, and rushed to the hangar where the Phoenix waited. "We'll need to move fast. This could be our chance to gather vital information about the enemy." As they boarded the ship, Jake's voice echoed over the comms. "Remember, this is about more than just defense. We're fighting for our future and the future of every planet that wants to stand against the Council." With hearts pounding and adrenaline rushing, the team launched the Phoenix into the sky, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. They were determined to protect Earth and prove that they were not just a small planet, but a powerful force in the galaxy. The first attack. The skies over Earth were clear, but tension filled the air. Captain Jake Eagle Thompson watched the stars from the command center, his heart racing. He knew the Kryn Empire would not wait long after discovering Earth's new weaponry. "We must be ready for anything," he said to his crew, who stood around him, eyes focused and determined. Suddenly, the alarm blared again, piercing the silence. "Captain, we have multiple unidentified ships entering Earth's atmosphere," a technician shouted. Panic rippled through the command center. Jake took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "Get me a visual on those ships," he ordered. Moments later, the screen flickered to life, showing sleek, dark ships descending from the sky. "It's the Kryn," someone yelled. "They're attacking." "Prepare the fleet for battle," Jake commanded, his voice steady. "We need to defend our planet." He turned to Maria, who was already at her station. "Get the Phoenix ready for launch. We'll meet them in the skies." Maria quickly responded, "On it, Captain. We'll show them we're not afraid." Her fingers flew over the controls as she prepared the ship for takeoff. Meanwhile, the technician updated Jake. "The enemy ships are moving fast. They're targeting the cities. Alert all pilots. Engage in defensive maneuvers." Jake shouted. He felt a rush of adrenaline. This was the moment they had trained for. As the Phoenix launched into the air, Maria took the pilot's seat, and Rob sat beside her, checking the ship's systems. "We're ready to go, Captain," Rob said, excitement mixed with fear. The ship soared into the sky, joining other Earth ships. The battle began with flashes of light and booming explosions. The Kryn ships fired laser beams, creating chaos in the sky. "Stay sharp, team," Jake yelled over the comms. "Target the enemy ships and engage." As they entered the fray, Maria expertly piloted the Phoenix through enemy fire. "I see them. I'm locking on," she shouted, her eyes narrowed in concentration. With a quick movement, she pulled the trigger. The burst of bright light shot from the ship, hitting one of the Kryn vessels. It exploded in a fiery ball. "Yes, we got one." Rob cheered, raising his fist. But the battle was far from over. More Kryn ships appeared, and they were not backing down. Jake could see the enemy ships regrouping, preparing for another assault. "We need to protect the cities. Keep them away from the ground," he ordered. As they dodged and weaved through the chaos, Jake caught sight of a large Kryn ship approaching. "That one looks like their command ship," he said. "If we take it out, we can disrupt their attack." "Let's go for it," Maria replied, determination shining in her eyes. The Phoenix sped toward the command ship, dodging enemy fire. Jake could feel the tension in the air. "Rob, target their engines. We need to cripple them." Rob nodded, fingers flying over the controls. "Locking on. Now." Maria steadied the ship as Rob fired another round. The blast hit the engine, causing the ship to wobble and lose speed. "Nice shot, Rob," Jake yelled, adrenaline pumping through him. But just as they celebrated their success, another wave of Kryn ships arrived. "They're bringing in reinforcements," a voice called over the comms. Jake knew they needed to act fast. "We can't give up. We fight for our home." He looked at his crew, their faces filled with determination. "Together, we will show the galaxy that Earth will not back down." With renewed energy, the Phoenix and its crew prepared for the next wave, ready to defend their planet against the Kryn Empire. The battle for Earth had just begun, and they were ready to fight. Allies unite. The battle above Earth was fierce, but Captain Jake "Eagle" Thompson knew they could not win alone. With the Kryn Empire growing stronger, it was time to seek help from other planets. "We need allies," he told Lieutenant Maria Star-Cruz as they prepared for their next mission. "If we don't join forces, we might lose everything we fought for." Maria nodded, her expression serious. "I agree, Captain. We've heard whispers of other races who feel threatened by the Council. We should reach out to them." Jake turned to the crew, filled with determination. "We must make contact with the Thraxians and the Eldari. They are powerful and can help us in this fight." He pointed to a map of the galaxy displayed on a screen. "If we can unite these races, we stand a better chance against the Kryn." The crew jumped into action. Tech specialist Rod quickly began sending out messages to the Thraxian and Eldari leaders. "We need to convince them that joining us is in their best interest," he said, focused on the screens. Meanwhile, Jake and Maria planned their trip. "We should head to Thraxia first," Jake decided. "They are known for their fierce warriors and advanced technology. If we can win them over, the Eldari will likely follow." With the plan set, the Phoenix launched into space, heading toward the Thraxian homeworld. The journey was tense, with the threat of Kryn ships lurking nearby. But Jake and his crew were determined to make contact. When they arrived at Thraxia, they were greeted by a striking sight. The planet was covered in lush green forests and sparkling rivers. Giant towers rose into the sky, built by the Thraxians, who were known for their strength and honor. As they landed, Jake felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The Thraxian leader, General Kale, was a legend in the galaxy. If they could earn his trust, they would gain a powerful ally. As they disembarked, a group of Thraxian soldiers approached. They were tall and muscular, with bright blue skin and sharp eyes. General Kale stood at the front, a stern expression on his face. "Who dares to enter Thraxia uninvited?" he boomed, his voice echoing through the trees. Jake stepped forward, his heart pounding. "I am Captain Jake Thompson of Earth. We come in peace and seek your help against the Kryn Empire. They threaten not just Earth, but every planet in the galaxy." General Kale studied Jake carefully. "Why should we help you? Earth is weak compared to the Kryn. What can you offer us?" "We can offer you freedom," Maria interjected, stepping beside Jake. "If the Kryn take over, they will bring war and suffering to all planets. Together, we can fight back and protect our homes." The Thraxian soldiers murmured among themselves, their eyes flickering with interest. Jake felt a glimmer of hope. "We are not just asking for help. We want to unite against a common enemy. We can share our technology and strategies. Together, we can be unstoppable." Kale crossed his arms, considering the offer. "You speak boldly, Earth Captain, but words mean little in war. We will test your strength in combat. If you prove yourselves worthy, we may consider joining you." "Very well," Jake replied, determination shining in his eyes. "We accept your challenge." With that, the Thraxians led Jake and his crew to an arena surrounded by towering trees. The air was thick with tension as they prepared for a series of tests to prove their skills. Jake and Maria exchanged glances, ready to show the Thraxians what Earth was capable of. They were determined to earn their trust and unite their forces against the Kryn Empire. The fate of their worlds depended on it, and they would not fail. The Council strikes back. The Galactic Council was in chaos after their first encounter with Earth. In a dimly lit chamber on their home planet, Chancellor Zarnak paced back and forth, his bright green skin glowing with anger. "How could we let a small planet like Earth stand against us?" he shouted, slamming his fist on the table. "They have embarrassed us in front of the galaxy." General Rax, still smirking from his earlier betrayal, leaned back in his chair. "They may have won a battle, but they will not win the war. We have underestimated their strength, but we will not make that mistake again. We must strike back with full force." Zarnak nodded, a plan forming in his mind. "We will launch a massive attack on Earth. We will show them the true power of the Galactic Council." He turned to Rax, a glint of cunning in his eyes. "Prepare the fleet. This time, we will not hold back." Rax grinned, his sharp teeth glinting in the light. "I will gather the best warriors from the Kryn Empire. We will destroy Earth once and for all." As the council members discussed their plan, word of the attack spread through the galaxy. On Earth, Captain Jake Eagle Thompson and his crew were still on Thraxia, training to win the Thraxians' trust. Just as they finished a grueling practice session, a message came through from their command center. "Captain, we have received urgent news," one of the technicians reported, their voice tense. "The Galactic Council is planning a massive attack on Earth." Jake's heart sank. "We need to warn everyone back home." "The Council is serious this time," he said, his mind racing. "We can't let them catch us off guard." Maria, standing beside him, quickly took control of the communication system. "I'll send a message to the command center. We need to prepare our defenses and alert all our allies." Her fingers flew over the controls, sending out urgent warnings. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the command center was in a frenzy. Soldiers rushed to their posts, and technicians scrambled to gather intelligence on the approaching Kryn fleet. Jake's voice echoed through the speakers. "Everyone, listen up. The Council is launching an all-out attack. We need to be ready for anything." One of the pilots, Lieutenant Max, looked at Jake with determination. "What's our plan, Captain?" "We'll gather every ship we have. Earth's fleet needs to be united against this threat," Jake replied. "And we'll use our new ships to their fullest potential. The Phoenix and its allies will lead the charge." As the crew prepared for battle, they received another message. "Captain, the Kryn fleet is massive. They are approaching Earth at high speed," a technician warned. Jake felt a wave of urgency. "Everyone, to your ships. We will meet them head-on." He knew they were outnumbered, but they had something the Council didn't, the determination to fight for their home. With the fleet assembled, Jake led the way in the Phoenix. As they soared through the atmosphere, he could see the dark shapes of the Kryn ships in the distance, blocking out the stars. "This is it," he shouted, adrenaline pumping through him. "We fight for our families, our friends, and our planet." As the ships collided in the vastness of space, laser beams lit up the sky. The roar of engines and the sound of explosions filled the air. Jake maneuvered the Phoenix through the chaos, leading his crew with bravery. "Stay close, team. We can't let them break our formation," he yelled. Maria and Rob worked together, firing their weapons at the incoming Kryn ships. "We're holding them back, Captain," Maria shouted, determination in her voice. But the Kryn were relentless. More ships poured in from the darkness, and the battle raged on. Jake knew they had to find a way to turn the tide. "We need a strategy," he yelled, thinking fast. "Let's split into smaller groups. We can outmaneuver them." With the stakes higher than ever, Jake and his crew prepared for the fight of their lives. The Council had struck back, but Earth was ready to show them the strength of unity and courage. The tide turns. The battle for Earth raged in the darkness of space, laser beams flashing like shooting stars. Captain Jake "Eagle" Thompson navigated the Phoenix through the chaos, his heart pounding. The Kryn fleet loomed large, their ships firing relentlessly at Earth's forces. It seemed like a desperate fight, but Jake knew they had to turn the tide. "Everyone, listen up," Jake shouted over the comms, trying to keep his crew focused amid the explosions. "We can't fight them head-on. We need to outsmart them. Let's use our speed and agility to our advantage." Lieutenant Maria Star Cruz responded immediately, her eyes shining with determination. "I'll lead a small team to draw their fire. We can create a diversion while the rest of you flank them from behind." "That's a great idea, Maria," Jake said, feeling the surge of hope. "Rob, can you work on enhancing our cloaking technology? We need to disappear and reappear right where they least expect us." "Already on it, Captain," Rob replied, his fingers dancing over the control panel. "I'll have the systems ready in a few moments." The crew quickly prepared for their new strategy. Maria and her team took the lead, flying towards the Kryn ships, firing a few shots to get their attention. "Here we go. Let's show them what we've got," Maria shouted, her adrenaline pumping. As the Kryn ships turned to focus on the star, Jake commanded the rest of the fleet. "Now, while they're distracted," he led the charge with the Phoenix and a group of Earth ships that followed closely behind. Just as the Kryn started to realize their mistake, Jake activated the cloaking device. The Phoenix vanished from sight, leaving the enemy confused. "Now, strike," Jake yelled, reappearing directly behind a group of unsuspecting Kryn ships. Their lasers fired with deadly accuracy, and the enemy ships erupted in explosions. "Yes, keep it up," Jake cheered, feeling a rush of excitement. Meanwhile, Maria's team continued to weave in and out of enemy fire, drawing attention away from the main fleet. "They're falling for it. Let's keep the pressure on them," she shouted, her voice filled with energy. But the Kryn were quick to adapt. They started regrouping and counterattacking, launching swarms of fighters toward Maria's team. "We've got company," one of her pilots warned. "They're not giving up." "Stay sharp," Maria commanded, dodging enemy fire. "We can't let them catch us. Stay in formation." Back with Jake, the tide of battle had shifted. They were gaining ground, but he knew they needed to finish this quickly before the Kryn could regroup. "Rob, how are we looking on weapon power?" Jake asked, urgency in his voice. "We're at full power. Ready to go," Rob replied, adrenaline coursing through him. "All right, let's finish what we started," Jake shouted, leading the charge deeper into the heart of the Kryn fleet. "Everyone, target their command ship. We take that down, and we can break their morale." The crew of the Phoenix focused on their mission. Laser beams filled the space around them, but their teamwork shone bright. "Locking on now," Maria's voice came through the comms. "Let's take this shot." As they fired their weapons, the command ship took a direct hit. It shuddered violently and began to lose altitude. "Direct hit. They're losing control," one of the technicians cheered. The sight fueled the Earth fleet, lifting their spirits. As the command ship fell, panic spread through the Kryn ranks. The tide had finally turned in favor of Earth. Jake could feel the energy of his crew rising. "Now's our chance. Keep pushing forward. Show them the strength of unity." With renewed strength, the Earth fleet surged into the fray. pushing back against the remaining Kryn ships. Together, they fought not just for their survival, but for the freedom of all planets facing the threat of the Galactic Council. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, victory seemed within reach. The final showdown. The battle raged on above Earth, but now the tide had turned. Captain Jake "Eagle" Thompson felt a surge of hope as the Earth fleet pressed forward, pushing back against the remaining Kryn ships. The command ship had fallen, and the Kryn were starting to panic. "This is our moment," he shouted to his crew aboard the Phoenix. "Let's finish this fight once and for all." Lieutenant Maria Starcruz, her eyes fierce with determination, nodded. "We've got them on the run. Let's take out their flagship and send a message to the rest of the galaxy." She piloted the ship with expert precision, weaving in and out of enemy fire. As they approached the heart of the Kryn fleet, the massive flagship loomed in front of them. It was heavily armed and protected by smaller ships, but Jake could see a weakness in their formation. "Maria, take us to the left flank. We can slip in between those ships," he commanded. "Got it, Captain," Maria responded, focusing intently on her controls. The Phoenix shot through the chaos, narrowly avoiding enemy fire. The thrill of the chase filled the air as they closed in on the flagship. Meanwhile, Rob monitored the ship's weapons systems. "We're ready to fire, Captain. Just give the word," he yelled, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Jake grinned, feeling the rush of battle. "Now, Rob, target their engines." He knew that if they could disable the flagship, the remaining Kryn forces would crumble. The Phoenix unleashed a volley of lasers, striking the flagship's engines. Sparks flew, and the ship shuddered violently. "Direct hit," Rob shouted, eyes wide with excitement. "They're losing power." But the flagship was not ready to surrender. It retaliated with fierce determination, firing its weapons at the Phoenix and surrounding ships. Jake felt the ship tremble as enemy fire hit them. "Hold steady," he commanded. "We've come too far to back down now." As the Phoenix dodged incoming blasts, Maria shouted, "I can't keep this up much longer, Captain. We need to take out that flagship fast." Jake took a deep breath, thinking quickly. "Let's execute the plan we discussed. We need to split our forces and hit them from both sides." He communicated with the rest of the fleet, coordinating the attack. "All ships prepare to flank the flagship. On my mark." The fleet moved as one, splitting into two groups and surrounding the flagship. The Kryn crew scrambled to respond, their confusion evident. "Now," Jake shouted, firing another round at the flagship's weakened engines. The explosion lit up the sky, and the flagship's engines erupted in a fiery blaze. "We did it. They're crippled," Rob cheered. With their flagship disabled, the remaining Kryn ships began to retreat. The sight of their leaders faltering sparked hope among the Earth fleet. "Don't let up," Jake commanded. "Let's finish them off and secure our victory." The Earth ships charged forward, taking advantage of the Kryn's disarray. Laser beams zipped through the void, striking enemy ships with deadly accuracy. Maria maneuvered the Phoenix through the chaos, expertly dodging fire as they pursued the fleeing Kryn. "We can't let them escape. They'll come back stronger if we don't stop them now," she said, her voice filled with urgency. Jake agreed, his heart racing. "Focus on the ships that are trying to escape. We can't allow the Council to regroup." As the Earth fleet closed in on the remaining Kryn ships, they fought with every ounce of strength. The roar of engines and the clash of lasers filled the air, creating a symphony of chaos. But just as victory seemed assured, a massive Kryn warship emerged from the shadows. It was the Council's last hope, and it came bearing down on the Phoenix. "Captain, a new ship is entering the fight," Rob warned, eyes wide in shock. Jake's mind raced. "All ships form a defensive perimeter. We need to protect the fleet." The final showdown had begun, and Jake knew they would need every bit of courage and unity to face the Council's last line of defense. Earth was ready to fight, and together, They would show the galaxy their true strength. Betrayal uncovered. The fierce battle in space continued as the Earth fleet fought valiantly against the looming Kryn warship. Captain Jake "Eagle" Thompson felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Victory was close, but the new threat posed by the Council's warship cast a shadow over their triumph. "Captain, that ship is massive. We need a plan to take it down," Lieutenant Maria Star-Cruz shouted, her fingers flying over the controls as she kept the Phoenix steady amid the chaos. Jake nodded, his mind racing. "We'll have to target their weak points. Rob, can you scan for any vulnerabilities in their armor?" "On it," Rob replied, his eyes glued to the screen. He furiously typed commands, searching for any sign of weakness. "There. The left side has lighter armor. If we can hit hard enough, we might break through." Jake grinned, filled with determination. "Great work, Rob. Maria, take us around to the left flank. We'll focus our fire there." As the Phoenix maneuvered, a sudden burst of energy rippled through the ship. "Captain, something's wrong with the power systems," Rob shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "What do you mean?" Jake asked, alarmed. "We can't afford any issues now." Rob's fingers danced over the controls. "It looks like someone tampered with the energy systems. We're losing power quickly." Jake's heart sank. Who would do this? "We need to figure out who is behind this betrayal." He glanced at Maria, who was already thinking the same thing. "Could it be an inside job?" Maria suggested, her expression tense. "We need to find out who had access to the systems." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the ship, and the lights flickered. The crew jumped at the sound, and Jake felt the fear grip his heart. "Stay calm. We need to investigate," he ordered. "Rob, can you maintain our systems while we look for the saboteur?" Jake asked. "I'll do my best, Captain, but I can't guarantee we'll hold out long," Rob replied, sweat trickling down his brow. "Let's move," Jake commanded, leading Maria and a small group of crew members toward the control room. As they rushed down the corridor, they could hear the chaos of battle outside. When they reached the control room, Jake quickly assessed the situation. "Everyone, check the logs. We need to find out who accessed the energy systems before the fight began." Rob nodded, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "Looking now, there's a lot of data to sift through." Just then, they heard footsteps behind them. Maria turned around, her heart racing. "Who's there?" she shouted, her voice firm. Out of the shadows stepped General Rax, the traitorous figure from the Galactic Council. His eyes gleamed with malice. "Ah, Captain Thompson, it seems you're too late. Your ship is doomed." "Rax," Jake shouted, fury boiling within him. "You're the one behind this. You've betrayed us." Rax chuckled, his voice dripping with arrogance. "I simply wanted to ensure the Council's victory. And with your ship out of commission, Earth will fall." Jake clenched his fists, his anger fueling his determination. "We won't let you win, Rax. You'll pay for this treachery." As the crew prepared to confront Rax, he activated a hidden device on his wrist. "I think not. The Kryn fleet will obliterate your ship in moments," he sneered, watching with glee. But before he could escape, Maria sprang forward, her eyes fierce. "Not so fast," she shouted, grabbing Rax's arm and twisting it behind his back. "You're not going anywhere." Rax struggled, but Maria was stronger. "Jake now. We need to secure him before he can call for help." Jake stepped closer, glaring at Rax. "You're finished, Rax. We're taking you back to Earth for justice." Rob, still working on the systems, called out, "I've isolated the sabotage. If we can remove the faulty energy core, we can regain power." With Rax captured and their systems almost restored, hope sparked in Jake's heart. "Let's move quickly. If we get the power back online, we can fight back against the Kryn warship." As they worked together, Jake felt the tide of battle shift once more. They had uncovered the betrayal and captured the traitor. But the fight was far from over. With Rax in custody and their power slowly returning, they were ready to turn the tide against the Council. The final showdown was upon them, and Jake knew they had to fight for their home. Earth was not done yet. A new beginning. The battle over Earth had reached its climax. Captain Jake "Eagle" Thompson stood aboard the Phoenix, heart racing, as the ship's systems came back online. They had captured General Rax, the traitor, and discovered his sabotage. Now, the Earth fleet was ready for one final push against the Kryn warship. "Captain, we're back at full power," Rob shouted, excitement lighting up his face. "We can join the fight again." Jake felt a rush of determination. "Good work, Rob. Let's show the Kryn that Earth won't back down." He turned to his crew, who were buzzing with energy. "Prepare for battle. We need to take down that warship before they can regroup." Maria Star-Cruz grinned, her spirit unbroken. "I can't wait to give them a taste of their own medicine." As the Phoenix and the rest of the Earth fleet surged forward, Jake felt a sense of unity among his crew. They had fought hard, facing impossible odds, and now they were more determined than ever to protect their home. The Kryn warship loomed before them, massive and menacing. But the sight only fueled Jake's resolve. "Let's focus on their weak points. Everyone, lock onto your targets," he commanded, voice steady. The Earth fleet opened fire, lasers shooting through the void and striking the warship. Explosions erupted across its hull, shaking the massive ship. "Yes, keep pushing," Maria cheered, guiding the Phoenix through the chaos. But the Kryn were not finished. They returned fire with a fury, and the skies erupted with energy. "Watch out," one of the crew shouted, as beams of light streaked toward them. "Stay alert." "Evasive maneuvers," Jake shouted, steering the Phoenix with precision. His crew worked as one, dodging blasts while returning fire. Suddenly, a bright flash illuminated the darkness. Jake's heart raced as he saw a critical hit on the Kryn warship. "We're getting through. Let's keep the pressure on," he yelled. With the battle reaching its peak, Jake felt the weight of the moment. This was not just about winning a fight. It was about protecting everything they loved. "For Earth," he shouted, rallying his crew. The Phoenix surged forward, firing lasers with renewed vigor. As they targeted the warship's command center, a massive explosion rocked the enemy ship. "Direct hit," Rob cheered, grinning from ear to ear. But just as it seemed victory was within reach, the Kryn warship unleashed one last desperate attack. "They're firing their main cannon," a crew member warned, fear evident in their voice. "Brace for impact," Jake shouted, gripping the controls tightly. The Phoenix trembled as the beam struck, sending them reeling. For a moment, everything felt dark and uncertain. When the smoke cleared, Jake could hardly believe it. They were still intact. "Status report," he demanded, voice firm. "We've taken damage, but we can keep fighting," Maria shouted back, her eyes bright with determination. "Good. Let's finish this," Jake commanded. With one final push, the Phoenix and the Earth fleet concentrated their fire on the Kryn warship. Lasers lit up the sky as they unleashed everything they had. The Kryn warship shuddered under the relentless assault, and with a final explosion, it began to break apart. "Yes, we did it," Rob cheered, disbelief flooding his voice. Cheers erupted among the crew of the Phoenix. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The Council had been defeated, and Earth stood strong. As the battle finally came to a close, Jake looked out at the vastness of space, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. They had fought together, united in their determination to protect their home. With Rax in custody and the Kryn forces scattered, it was time for a new beginning. "Let's head home," Jake said softly, a smile spreading across his face. "We've got a planet to protect and a future to build." As they turned the Phoenix toward Earth, the crew knew this was just the beginning. They had proven that humanity could stand against the galaxy's mightiest foes. Together, they would face whatever came next, ready to defend their home with strength, unity, and courage. The stars twinkled above them, and the future was bright.